As I explore the intricacies of self-examination and simply how we express ourselves online, particularly through our profile pictures and usernames, it is remarkable how these seemingly small choices reveal so much about who we are, or who we aspire to be. I want to explore how profile pictures, or PFPs as they're called by the layman youth, serve as windows into our souls and, in a way, reflect the evolution of community culture within the video game Team Fortress 2. Consider the past, when individuals would sit for hours to have their portraits painted. It wasn't merely about capturing a face, it was about encapsulating the essence of who they were, or at least projecting the image they wished others to perceive. With the advent of photography, the ability to capture one's likeness became accessible to all. Those early photographs, often utilized by spies or detectives for identification purposes, were the precursors to our modern online avatars. It's fascinating to realize that the roots began with something so earnest. The general trajectory is clear, though delving into such a complete history would take us down a rabbit hole we simply cannot afford to explore now. But as the internet emerged, people began to create profiles on websites and social media platforms, Facebook, MySpace, and so on. Choosing a profile picture became a declaration. This is me. It could be anything: a favorite band, a beloved pet, or a character from a game. Again, it serves as a digital equivalent of a self-portrait, something deeply personal and distinctive. When online forums, chat rooms, and gaming entered the scene, the significance of a polite picture expanded. It wasn't merely an image, it became a cornerstone of one's identity within that community. It's how others recognize you and remember your contributions. It became a medium of self-expression, blending art, humor, and a hint of a personal branding. In the case of Team Fortress 2, however, I feel like this concept was elevated. Within the game, your profile picture and username are not just accessories, they are integral parts of your in-game identity. The profile picture can be and is more than an image. It's a facet of the persona you project into the match. Your username, it's the banner under which you play, the identity you craft within the game. It lets you tell if there's a warlord on the other team. I think it's obvious when someone of importance enters a match based on their profile picture and, their name. Obviously, the name doesn't always parallel the person. Sometimes bots use the names of famous players or famous people. But when you see the Coheed logo profile picture and you see Froyo has joined your game, it's pretty obvious who that is or what you're going to run into. These community identifications are simply made easier by profile pictures, which has remained static. And in TF2, players frequently can change their profile pictures to mirror their mood, celebrate victories, or simply elicit a laugh. Memes become profile pictures all the time, and they have been for decades now, and suddenly, the entire server is in on the joke. It's a means of connecting with others, declaring your belonging, and sharing a laugh with your team. In my collection I rotate through probably 4 distinct profile pictures or avatars, each deeply resonating with my tastes and shifting of moods. It's not a matter of scarcity, more could be easily added to this batch, this mix. But these 4 hold a particular significance that draws me back time and time again, a history. While others have come and gone, these remain because they speak something so personal. One of these avatars may be a little familiar, a hawk or a vulture image that has sparked some controversy on my YouTube channel. This vulture, hawk, however it is more than just a logo. It's a cropped and redesigned version of an old Xbox 360 profile picture from some Tony Hawk's American Wasteland game batch or profile picture batch. A game that has defined a significant part of my childhood. Though I never mastered the butt slap technique, I think I brought that up earlier, to reach sky rises that many thug pro skaters today reach with ease, I've always felt an affinity with the online birdhouse skater culture as an outsider. There's something about the things from our childhood, our youth, that clutch us with such nostalgia, compelling us to hold on to them as if they were cherished toys from our childhood toy boxes. I remember vividly the countless hours spent loading into Kyoto and Beverly Hills after school or matches I played, using the game to unwind, spamming rolls and flip moves. The earliest memories I have of the game were actually on the GameCube, and they involve frantically mashing the B button to do every special kickflip imaginable. It wasn't until I discovered the Avatar pack with this hawk logo that metaphorically swooped in and ingrained in me a deep love for the past. I hope to continue looking at it fondly without recognizing the ways it may have limited me.
Man, I hate theme parks.
Another Avatar hails from my early days on Steam, around the age of 13, when I began exploring anime. A rite of passage, I think, for everyone at that age. It's from my favorite episode of Cowboy Bebop, Pierre le Fou, or Pierre the Fool. The episode, I'm sorry to any French people, the episode left a lasting impact, primarily due to its chilling conclusion. The seemingly invincible assassin, capable of deflecting bullets and flying everywhere, is reduced to a crying child in his final moments. His screams, born from the agony of medical experimentation, haunted me, as I'd always been unnerved by such imagery in my childhood. This episode's setting, a dark parody of Disneyland called Spaceland, added to its eerie, captivating charm, featuring Pierre the child mind assassin. Against this twisted backdrop made the episode unforgettable to me. I was captivated by one frame of Spaceland, a simple yet resonant image that I never saw widely discussed online or used anywhere else. Perhaps it was the lack of recognition that made it so compelling to use as a profile picture at the time, marking it as a favorite due to its significance in my early digital identity. The third avatar, a Viking helmet, was inspired by my friend Kami, who used a profile picture created by a now-defunct Halo 2 emblem generator, which you have to use like the Wayback Machine to get to, but his choice showcased the original jagged, pixelated emblems from the very game, and they perfectly captured the raw essence of that in-game. And admiring his style, and as a teammate at the time, I adopted a Viking helmet with flames, a tribute to my favorite hat in TF2, the Burning Tyrant's helmet. I really love that hat. When I started playing TF2 competitively, I was deeply influenced by the legendary Team Classic mix-up, particularly the players TLR and Platinum. And I remember, before I started playing competitive, there was a video of Platinum MGing random players, and in my mind, I always associated him with the white Tyrant's helm. However, when I revisited the video, I realized he actually had, like, basically the loadout I was using at the time, but it was a burning pot. And my memory must have merged the two together, Platinum and TLR, because if you know anything about TLR, right, if you're a nerd like me, he wore a white Tyrant's helm. Interestingly, though, here's a fun fact if you want to do some detective work. On some TLR video on the internet, TLR, don't mix it up like I did, you can find a poet. Some genius Shakespearean man wrote this lengthy song about TLR and his Tyrant's helm and how he basically kicked ass in that part of TF2's history. Some old comment section of an old MG video. It's a hidden gem. If you can find it, kudos. I might even give you a key. I'll give you a key. But it's somewhere out there, buried in the obscurity of low view or unlisted MG videos. Acquiring this Burning Tyrant's helm marked a pivotal moment for me. I traded away nearly all my expensive items to get it, effectively overpaying for this pure white beacon. It became the only piece of swag I needed, a symbol of dedication. In hindsight, it echoes the Batman quote we all know about becoming the villain instead of honing my competitive skills. At the time, I became obsessed with acquiring items, gold, hoard like a dragon. Yet this hat remains a fond reminder of that passion and drive that fueled my early competitive days. Lastly, I often return to an avatar that, while underused, I feel, captured my attention. It's Moki Moki from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, inspired by others who used Pokemon card art as their avatars at the time. I sought something equally iconic yet different, and I felt like Moki Moki, with its peaceful, passive expression, seemed like the perfect blank canvas reflecting my mood. Though I never had a strong connection to Yu-Gi-Oh!, my childhood was more centered around Pokemon. Moki Moki provided a calm, almost serene presence that aligned with how I wanted to be perceived at the time. This avatar became my go-to during my early days in ESEA, which were the dying days of the scene. So what's the point in telling you all this? Well, I would encourage everyone here to reflect on these stories and these icons, and consider how you relate to your own profile pictures. They could be images of yourself or something entirely different. I have a few more that I mentioned I used, though they are not as significant to me. For example, I could discuss a Godzilla one, but that's a tale for another time, a commentary for another day. I just wanted to illustrate that online and in-game we are constantly revealing pieces of ourselves. Our reactions to beauty, success, and goodness speak volumes about who we are in the world of TF2. These reactions manifest in tangible forms as a profile picture, a username, how we type, how we dress, our cosmetics, right? A moment that captures a fragment, just inches of our identity. These reflections serve more as a point to myself than a grand thesis on the significance of profile pictures. Some people change their online aliases and profiles as often as they change their clothes, applying digital makeup to project the most confident versions of themselves. Whether it's a carefully curated selfie or a minimalist icon, it's all about presenting this best version of themselves. I've observed friends who start with a default Steam account and what we might call emo mode, and gradually transform into something cultured and specific in their own terms. And using all the Steam points they've accumulated, they go wild on the new point shop and buy as many backgrounds, right? There's certainly an aesthetic to this. But hopefully the point I'm getting across is this. Reflect on or share your history of profile pictures below. Is there one that from YouTube that you care about? Some people change theirs daily, as I've said time and time again. If you're brave, share your story in the comments. What does your profile picture mean to you? I'd love to hear it. Thank you, and take care.